Abusuafo mu bibi akwaba. Awura ye frɛ no Doctor and Sansan Daily. Ne yabeto dwase. An appointment to the NHIS, the National Health Insurance Scheme, no, has been revoked. Ni na ni say omuchire mu a maame no anase awuraba no a fake female medical doctor. Na aya okba TV3 oba GH1 TV ebe ma some advocacy bi na niema bi. Na Endra na Sansem ebeto bia Callistus Mahama, the secretary to the president, Ediba Bontin. Na same way, an NDC communicator, any NPP communicator, a clash on that. Our moye then, church him the reasons why, and that kind of Uberena way I say, Ubaka and senior branch bia, or see, or yes, a singer tone was a sing. Ewi actually na unyenyaye enso no one kasa wako design the Guinness Guinness World Records na wako design bi Africa media houses wo krom ha amo chese wa fully obia excuse my language ansa ewi actually omo eche no omo eche wura no sanzona Dr. UN enso organize fake awards edema sa kwade ni nkofo chese celebrities bebre wo krom ha chatawale ni na GB abusafo Numbeseme kase bibri. Ghana side we cost too much and it is getting out of hand. So beat me a solo you soon adri so no way our mrekwa na sa position and title no onyinya yanko na yanko tie enseni emu enchire mu ebi. Any the suspended Chief Justice Madam Toko no sense ma ekoso madam we or ginjiri ne ho keke yenko yinti nseni bi moro good morning Ghana show so yemfa credit na ma Metro TV omona moboa ya enya sanse nwe bi edi beso mo yenko ti nseni bi yakoba ebeto aso edi amamo.
Who will be able to
but what they have to pay a 50 million
bill of 50 million within,
50 million bill is it cash you're supposed to give? No, is it a cash you're supposed to give? It's not cash.
Not cash,
a bill is not money. What are you saying?
Those who are coming, the sureties who are coming, yes, have to show that they will be able to get a surety.
Why you think that who says the governor of Kumasi doesn't have the means to show that? Didn't want to mean that as the richest person in this country is in Kumasi. He cannot give 50 million. So the fact that he said that means that the man has the property to ensure it. What is your problem? I think told you that he's struggling to get the surety.
So all we can say is that
so I look at you today because you are wearing tie and suit, then I determined that Fred is very rich.
The man said he's the governor of Kumasi. The man said he's the richest man in Kumasi. The man said has property all over the place. I forgot. Fred, you want me to remind you?
What has politicians not said in this country?
Master,
okay.
Allow one to me to have his day.
Then people, allow
Mr. Bernard Wontumi to have his day in court and with the police investigating.
But the right thing must be done.
Which wrong thing has been done?
All right.
You've not mentioned any wrong thing that has been done so far.
So let's look at some other issues which, for me, it's first of all, it's shocking. But it's I don't know what other word to use. I'll look at that story short. But we'll take a short break. We'll take a short break when we come back so we can have time for this matter. It has to do with this supposed self-styled medical doctor. You're watching Good Morning Ghana.
I have about 100 houses. You go to Kwadas. Okay? Kwadas who are there. There's some place. I have built about 69 houses and my houses, you can see. Where are them? It's not about boasting here and there. Where are them? Where is the identity? Where can they see them? Anything they have, I have more. I'm the governor of the Ashanti. I have more. Ashantis, that is why they say Ashantis are proud. Ashantis are proud because everybody, if you can see a watchman, he will do the watchman to build and say, this is my house. So go to the whole distance and look for their houses.
And Sally Dali. It's a very powerful name. And Sally Dali. Anyway, so there's something you want to say briefly before we move on to our next issue. Can we move on?
Yeah, I think I'll move on to the women to me issue. I've said that. Okay. Let us allow the process to continue.
All right.
There are several Ghanaians who have appeared before Yoko I can tell you for a fact. You see, some of us are just trying to stay away from this equalization thing and mentioning people's name on set, especially when they are not here. If I tell the things that people have gone through with Yoko, if you go to Yoko, what has changed over there? It's the same structure that was there that you presided over. If anything, it's just the head that has changed. And it's the same way they do their things that they are doing their things. And that's why you presided over the number of NDC appointees who appear before Yoko. If you want to tell, you have no idea. And all of them too could have organized people to mass up at the place and do all the things that they did. But people went there quietly, to go and tell their stories. And so when it's your turn and you think that you can mass up people, you can do all the things that you did. Now very soon, when we start going back to Ayawa's wagon issue, they will come back here and tell us that, witch hunting, whatever it is. When you had opportunity to have dealt with that issue conclusively, you didn't do it. And somebody now comes, you want to handle it, then you come back here and come and start complaining. And really, sometimes when I hear my brother from NPP, the way they speak about these issues, I get really, really hurt. It's as if they have forgotten the things they did not too long ago, right? We don't want to do equalization. Let us build a democracy. Let this country move on. If somebody, for instance, allegedly goes to a bank to go and take a loan that is going to plant maybe rice, and it comes out that he didn't plant the rice, he didn't buy the equipment, what he did on his own prior to accepting the loan, for which he has made a certificate of being the best farmer, is what is available. But after he got the loan, he didn't go back to the land. You think that must not be investigated? You think it's nothing? You think
is that the latest information you've picked up as to why
we are all picking all manner of information.
Wasn't arrested?
We can't put this things out because yes, you want to protect
it out.
But you start saying you put a lot of things out.
You're putting it out because
and you kept on pushing me. You kept on pushing me
that
to
he
talk.
took a loan from Exim Bank.
Can you allow me to learn? Can you let me just learn?
You have some information on this Exim Bank.
You have information.
Collateral.
All of us put out the information you have.
Hold on. I want to understand the story. You mean Wontumi went for a loan from Exim Bank? Mm-hmm. How much? How much did he go for?
My information is that about $7 million.
About $7 million cedis. 7 million cedis.
7 million.
From Exim Bank.
Yes, that's the information I got from his spokesperson.
It's not cedis, not cedis.
Cedis. Okay. It's 7 million cedis from his spokesperson.
And also you have this information
from his spokesperson.
Okay.
To the extent that he even won the best farmer for the district.
That was prior.
In 2019.
Was it prior? Before he went for the loan?
After he went for the loan.
No,
and
that's
even,
not true.
Even
he won the best farmer.
Exim Bank appointed a farm manager for him.
The loan.
Exim Bank appointed a farm manager for him.
Okay.
The loan that he took, he submitted the collateral. The Exim Bank made him insure the loan and all these things. So these are contractual issues.
Okay.
I am saying that.
These are contractual issues.
So allow him to appear by the investigative bodies, right?
It doesn't have to go through this Rambo style.
Which Rambo style?
He's going to kill somebody.
All right.
No. Okay. I am happy that he said that we shouldn't do this politics of equalization. But you see, when you talk about pain, people also harbor pains in them from the excesses between 2009 to 2017. And are we going to continue the same cycle? That's the question
it is only when you are in opposition that you call for a seizure. When you are in a position, we should continue.
At what point does it stop? When you are calling for that you should stop politics of equalization now,
as for my brothers,
because if you continue this way, then maybe one day when you go into opposition, then the same system will continue.
As my brothers in opposition, they should just thank God. They should thank God that today we have President Mahama as the president of this country. A man who is not vindictive.
Okay.
A man who just let go of things.
Okay.
If really President Mahama was to be a vindictive person, and you want to go and pick all the things Wontumi has said in this country, my brother, wouldn't be here.
Okay.
Wouldn't be here. You know some of the things.
But you know, if you are talking about
Wontumi can sit on his own radio and television and call that even the president's daughter be raped. But will you be having somebody go on television and rape your daughter?
Of the political
no, you see, for me,
that we will not destroy a whole political.
We are not going to take any lessons. We are not going to take any lessons from you people on this matter.
All right.
We are not.
Nobody is saying
allow
that
the institutions. Allow the institutions.
Okay.
Yes, so allow
but
the
more the manner is being done.
Which way?
It
Which
has
manner?
to be done so that we don't.
When did you realize that?
On his rights.
When you went to George Napo's house, Minister of Energy, to this house, with soldiers and police and the rest, nice people to operate, you have forgotten. The current Attorney General, I know the things you did. I don't want to go there. Don't push me there.
Is it right?
We know the things I did in the past. So
Fred,
don't assume any higher moral.
We can go back into the past and tell you between
so I am saying that Wontumi should be thanking God that the
It's like
CID
they're chasing our
invited
tails.
him.
This same
Okay.
issue.
Nobody
So,
arrested
gentlemen,
him.
let's move
CID
on. Let's move
invited
on.
him. He went there in his beautiful car, having fun. When he finished,
so somebody
the media was there.
who
He
presents
spoke to the
himself
media.
to the security agencies on his own accord.
Eyoko,
Then
you
you
don't
grab
know
him, you
why.
block his vehicle,
You don't
grab
know
him
why
in the vehicle.
Eyoko picked him up at that point.
Okay.
If Eyoko invites you to come, maybe they have sent you letters 2 times, 3 times, and you have refused to come.
Okay.
And they hear
Fred,
that you are
there is no evidence that he has refused to come.
You see,
No,
you
you are.
after
There's
that,
no.
you
don't
sat
put this
on this
out.
platform. You said
You are saying
you are not
Eyoko-
privy to all the information.
Fred,
Okay.
there is no
You
evidence that he
understand?
was given invitation.
So how do you know what they are saying?
Fred,
Okay.
the invitation he was
If
given,
they
he honored
invite
it.
you,
It was the
brother,
CID
if they
invitation, he
invite you
honored
to
it.
come to Yoko 2 times, 3 times, you didn't go. And this morning they see you on this television set. By the time you finish, you'll be waiting downstairs. They'll pick you up.
Okay.
Yoko
You
should
don't know
present
why-
that invitation that they
They're going to
gave.
who?
Well,
Because I have the
to
police
you?
invitation that they gave him. That he went to the
Oh, so you really have a lot of
So
information.
If Yoko,
So why are you not
the police
questioning?
invitation
If you have a
is
lot
out.
of information, why are you not
The police
questioning
invitation is out to the public.
Yes.
You
If
understand?
Yoko invited him and he didn't go, Yoko should bring it out.
Okay.
Well,
All
let
right,
us
let's move
proceed.
on. Let's move on.
Let the
We can't
governor.
So let's
just
look at-
conjecture.
let's look at-
We
let
can't just
governor.
conjecture on
Yes.
this
Let
issue.
Governor Richmond to me handle himself at a place. He's a governor.
Yes.
He's the richest person.
Look
He's
at how
the
you are
one that
treating the
goes
whole
on
governor.
television
How you are treating the whole
and show us
governor.
gold. For the first time, we saw gold bars on
You see,
television.
you are not
I'm
seeing
the
gold bar
richest-
before. Now look at how you are treating the whole governor.
So governor is just there to do his own thing. Let me have his space. He's having fun. Eh? Why?
Yeah, you just said about to kill a fly.
Wuntu will be fine. He's
will be fine.
he's rich and powerful. He'll be
Yeah, he's a
fine.
very rich
He's
and
rich
powerful man. Hey.
So let's look at this other story. So Mahama revokes Sansa Dali, who's a NHIS board appointment. And the story here is by Ebenezer K. Amponsa of the Daily Guide. And it says President John Dramani Mahama has revoked the appointment of Sansa Dali from the board of the National Health Insurance Authority. A statement issued and signed by the Secretary to the President, Kalisus Mahama, said the President has nominated Professor Dr. Enes York to replace her as a member of the board. The termination of her appointment comes in the wake of growing concerns from health professionals and the public over her lack of a valid license to practice medicine in Ghana. Professor Enes York, her replacement, is a seasoned physician and current vice president of the Ghana Medical Association. He is expected to bring his vast experience and leadership to strengthen the NHIS board's oversight. The NHIS board plays a critical role in shaping policy and overseeing the management of Ghana's National Health Insurance Scheme, which is central to the delivery of healthcare service to millions of Ghanaians. Now, there have been several other, this is the letter revoking her appointment on the board. I mean, of course, there have been some other statements which have been issued. For instance, this one is from the Health Ministry that says, clarification on the appointment and swearing in of Sansa Dali to the National Health Insurance Authority Board. And it says the Ministry of Health has taken note of a publication on Graphic Online regarding the appointment and swearing in of Ms. Sansa Dali. Her name is such a mouthful, as a member of the National Health Insurance Authority Board. Now, the ministry wishes to categorically deny the allegations contained in the said publication and to present the facts as follows. 3. A letter appointing Ms. Sansa Dali, along with other members of the board, was issued on 19th May 2025. Subsequently, a letter dated 23rd May 2025 was issued by the appropriate authority. Now, this second letter revoked her appointment and appointed her replacement. It is important to clarify that Ms. Dali was not sworn in on the 27th of May 2025. That's according to the statement by the Health Ministry. I may have to look at this. It's important. Let me just right. So it says that the ministry assures the public of commitment to transparent and due process in all matters relating to the public appointment. Michael, what do you make of this?
I think we should ask Fred how this happened.
Well, first I'll come to him. But when you heard that a self-styled medical doctor has found a way into the board of the National Health Insurance Authority, and the fact that this was somebody who was actually on another media platform and was hosting a program for a long time as a medical doctor, okay, I don't know what was going through your mind when you heard of this development. And for you, what for you is the bigger conversation out there?
I think it casts a slur on our media and the government.
Okay.
Because what it does is that, what checks does the media do before they put people on TV?
Okay.
Because now you get pastors, self-acclaimed medical professionals, people selling all sorts of medicine and so on, coming on our airwaves, on our TVs, to talk about things that they may not even have knowledge on, or they may not even have the qualified or certificate or standardized certificates on. And they come out and they say these things as the truth to deceive people. I got shocked when I saw the videos. Initially, I was seeing information about her on social media, but I've not seen the video that she was a health professional having a particular program on one of the media stations.
Yeah.
So when I saw, I was shocked. I was like, what kind of checks did they do to put her on live TV, for her to put out some of these things, informing people and so on? She's not a professional medical doctor, but then it's out there that she's a professional medical doctor. So I believe that as a country, we've gotten to the point where we need to do these checks and balances. I know the state apparatuses have various ways of checking some of these things. Before you are even appointed to some sensitive positions, they let the NIB and so on do a background check of you and all those things. I don't know how they missed it. Maybe in the haste to create some of these boards and appointments, maybe they missed it and didn't do due diligence. But it's interesting, and I'm glad that they've been able to revoke it. The media, the social media uproar necessitated this. Initially, when the issue came, I think the government delayed it, because I saw the news items and the issues flying on social media a week before even the appointment came out. I think one journalist, Okatechi, had indicated that he was privy to information that the lady was going to receive appointment after he had done his show. Then, true to his words, on Monday, just this last week Monday, the appointment letter came that he had been appointed to the board. So it means that even after somebody in the media had hinted that there were issues, the government didn't go to the extent of doing due diligence on her. It was after civil society and other people started commenting on the issues based on the evidence available, that she said she had attended John Hopkins University and attained a GP of 4.0. More, you and I knows what it takes to attain a GP of 4.0.
Oh, God.
Okay, it is not easy, especially being a university like John Hopkins. Obviously, it is clear that definitely such institutions, Ivy League institutions, if you attain a GP of 4.0, it will be easy to find out. And she put out all these things, and we let it go. So I'm glad that today he's been taken off the board and replaced. But then these kind of mistakes, it's too early for the government to be making such mistakes. If you start at this level, I don't know the kind of mistakes that you make as time goes on. This is just like 5 months into the government. I think they are getting out of the honeymoon period. And it's quite unfortunate that this lady has come to cast a slur on whatever they are doing. But I would say we are a country where we kind of support some of these things, because Dr. UN came and started giving awards. And a lot of our celebrities, public officials and so fell to his traps. By the time it came out that he was a fake doctor and the awards was not genuine and so on, people had been embarrassed. And today the same thing is happening here. I know there are a lot of people even within NDC who have the qualifications, they are health professionals and so on, who campaign for the NDC to come to power. Quite surprisingly, I've been watching social media and some of them complain, because some of them expected that they will even get a board to represent. So the question a lot of them are asking is, how did she manage her way onto the board? And these are some of the questions you expect. But it shouldn't end there. I think there should be investigations. Because, you see, she has misrepresented herself. She has, how do you call it? She has more or less represented herself as a medical doctor, which is not true. Because the Ghana Medical Association, I think there was a letter to that effect, and they claim that she's not a medical professional in Ghana. And people have also written to John Hopkins, and they've also responded based on an ROI, and they've also responded that her records are not found in their own. I've seen a document circulating on social media. I don't know how true it is. Purported to be her CV, and on that document, I've seen that she attended University of Ghana between 2005 to 2008 and did tourism management.
Yes.
But my question is, university is 4 years. So why would it be 2005 to 2008, which is 3 years? And even if so, most people who are privy to how the universities work and their courses know that between 2004 to 2008, most of our universities were not offering tourism management. Tourism management is a course that I think over the last decade or so, most of the universities have introduced. So it begets knowledge how all these things happen, and she was able to, let me choose my words carefully, put together such character to deceive people in that way. But well, I believe the security agencies have to take up this matter and investigate further so that we will have the full briefing of how this mishap happened. And most importantly, I'm also looking at the revocation letter that came on 23rd.
Okay.
And the appointment and the
day of revocation.
Yes, swearing in. Because the appointment came on the 19th, which was Monday. I think the swearing in was done 2 days ago.
Yes.
And then a revocation letter comes out on 23rd. What I've been asking myself is whether the National Health Insurance Authority received the revocation letter before the swearing in.
Yes, that's a very valid question.
She attended it or not. And even if she didn't attend it, maybe it could be that she wasn't around. Even if she didn't attend it, did they make the revocation letter available to her? These are questions that people are asking. And I believe maybe when they investigate these issues, all these things will come to light.
But you clearly think that somebody should be held responsible for this?
No, I think she herself should be held responsible.
But she didn't put herself on the board.
No, but she misrepresented information to whoever appointed her.
That's one aspect of the issue. But
you know the NCA case?
Yes.
The NCA case where there was a director for IT or something.
Yes.
Gave false information. These things happen if you go to the universities. People submit false certificates to the universities.
Yeah.
And they get admission. It is after they've entered the universities, then the university will do ACE check because they submit the certificates back for authentication. So you realize that sometimes getting to the end of first semester, the universities will bring a list of people that they believe to have submitted fake certificates, and then they would have dismissed them. So when people are committing crime or these things, you can't obviously be able to anticipate what they will do. Once the person has submitted a fake document to the appointing authorities, and it has, based on oversight, they've done this thing, they have to correct it. And it's good they've corrected it. But then in correcting it, there should be action to it, there should be consequences to it. And that consequences should reflect in whatever investigations they do. So I don't want to commit myself to say, okay, somebody committed an act that that person should be hounded out immediately. But I expect that investigation should be carried out on this matter so that we know whether it was other people, there were other people involved, whether it's just the lady who is supposed to face the law, or whether the lady and other people within the appointing authority. Because I believe this board issue didn't even get, I'm sure it didn't get to some attention, maybe in the Jubilee House. Maybe they submitted and they got approval and it went through.
My question was that, wasn't the I don't want to call it the fakeness, for want of a better word. I mean, it was look, yesterday.
It was obvious.
So I'll tell you something. Yesterday, before we started Good Morning Ghana, my colleague Annie approached me and said, look, how did this doctor, this San Dali doctor, whoever she is, how did she end up as a board member of National Health Insurance Authority?
But the first question is, how did she even end up as a show host.
No, remember, we are not even there yet. In fact, she brought it up. In fact, she actually wanted us to run with that story yesterday. Of course, she determines what stories we should treat and so on and so on and so forth. And I recall at the time, Kwesi Pratt was here, and the other gentleman was Kwesi Pratt and
Collins Hadma.
Collins. No, it wasn't Collins. It was Kwesi Pratt and yes, Isaac Nyako.
Yeah.
And what we said was that in fact, some of us didn't even. We thought it was. So my reaction was, how? So I also said, so how did that happen, right? And we were expecting that something would have been done a few minutes even after she said it, because we just thought this was public knowledge, right? And lo and behold, as if she knew this was going to happen, she said, "We did here. We'll see what happens." And a few hours later, we're told the president had revoked her appointment because she was shocked. I mean, just couldn't believe it, and she wanted us to run with it. We said, "Oh, we relax more. Let's see what happens." You know what I mean? Because you see, and the reason why I'm saying this is because there's a gentleman called Niama Matefio.
Yeah.
He sometime must have been a week or 2 weeks ago or so. He went on social media and actually exposed, that this woman was not a medical doctor, so everybody should be wary of her.
I think I started seeing it 2 weeks ago.
You saw that publication?
Yes, I saw it 2 weeks ago.
And of course later he also came and made some apology and gave reasons why he gave that apology. But it wasn't about whether her status was authentic or not. But he made some apology because I don't know, but I suspect perhaps he was called upon to retract because some people were not comfortable with it. You know what I mean? My point is that this was a matter which was of public knowledge. So if it is of public knowledge, who at all would say that he's ignorant about the thickness of this woman's status as a medical doctor?
Quite embarrassing.
And then go ahead and even, appoint her as a board member of not some small institution. We're talking about National Health Insurance Authority. Just when I think about the thing, I don't understand. How?
Well, Moro, let me end.
And you see, when you do these things, it embarrasses the president.
That was what I was coming to. That if now this issue, if you try to take the president out, what it tells is that the president is not the appointing authority. He didn't know of the appointment.
Of course, he will take decisions based on what he would
information
deem to
be given.
Sound advice.
If you put the president
into him,
it embarrasses the whole presidential architecture.
Of course it does.
That they didn't do their checks well. So this is an embarrassment. It's a total embarrassment.
Anyway,
Moro, I think that is quite a challenging issue. I'm aware that before people are appointed into positions of responsibility, some due diligence is done on them by state institutions. Those is BN and they call NIB. They will go all the way down to your days in primary school, all the way to your GSS, secondary school, and all that, and try to be sure that you are exactly who you claim you are. And when a government takes office, the president takes office, the president appoints almost 5,000 people to every position. There's no way any president under the sun can know all these 5,000 plus people that he appoints directly himself. And so majority of these appointments are done that based on recommendations and all that. CVs are picked. The CVs are forwarded to the various investigative bodies to do some background checks on the people and all that. So far, we haven't heard that apart from this particular issue, that all the presidents who have been appointed have any reason or any doubtful reason for which those appointments shouldn't have been in place. It's quite unfortunate, but the good news is that appointment was issued on the 19th of May. 4 days after, they got information that no, the person who they've appointed is not who she claims she is. And so on the 23rd of May, the appointment was revoked. That's just about 4 days. They claimed that the woman was sworn in. In fact, the swearing in took place on the 27th, and the woman was not there at all. So she was not sworn in at all as a board member of National Health Insurance. I think it's important to make that point very strongly. She was appointed through on the 19th. The revocation was done 4 days after. The woman didn't get the opportunity to be sworn in as a board member of National Health Insurance. I agree with my brother when he says that we need to investigate this issue further.
I agree.
We don't need to leave it at that point. And this things, Moro, not to justify what has happened.
Yeah.
But like he rightly said, go to our universities. I remember years back at Legon, somebody walked up to me, the fellow came to level 100. I think I was in 300 or 400 then. And said, oh, he wants to travel abroad. The person was so desperate about going abroad, I didn't know what was going on. It was in level 100. And sometimes he doesn't even go for lectures. It's like always, anytime you meet him,
he's dodgy.
I want to travel.
Yeah.
So after the first year, I didn't see the gentleman again in school. Then later, I think the notice was put out, and I heard that he faked his certificate that he brought to the university. So like he said, Legon after I have entered, they will send all the certificate back to WAEC.
Yes.
To authenticate
the
certificates.
Exactly.
So this guy might have come in. It's a motive that, okay, you know what? Let me get admission. Use the admission to get a visa.
So they normally use the admission to get introductory letter.
Letter from
get
the school. Get a visa and then come out of the country. That was all the motive. Now in this country, we have heard about people who have practiced as lawyers. They go to court for several years. Before it comes out that apparently they are not even lawyers. This same medical field. We have heard people who say they are doctors and they have practiced for several years, in some cases 14, 15 years, before we get to know that, after all, they are not qualified doctors who practice in our jurisdiction. I'm just wondering what the case was in those days that we didn't have this artificial intelligence and this technology today. That somebody can even travel abroad, go and pick the PhD thesis or master's thesis of another person out there and just come and reproduce the same thing. And the university wouldn't have any way of cross-checking them. But all this is online. And so they can easily have plagiarism and those things. There's no way you could check in those days. You understand? And so those of you are here, somebody come from America, come from whatever it is in Europe and say, oh, I've gone to so and so university and this is the certificate I have. And they've been allowed to work. I think that by the grace of God, because of technology now, these things can easily be checked 1 minute.
Yeah.
Those living passports, people go and get visas, then they will remove the passport section and the visa section and put in somebody else's passport for the fellow to travel. Now they'll take your biodata and everything.
Yeah.
And so you don't even need your passport again to do anything.
Yeah.
I am happy that
and a simple...
it came very quickly to the knowledge of the appointing authority, and the appointing authority also did the needful. But all of us are saying that it shouldn't end at this point. This lady should be handed over to the police or whichever investigative body. We need to interrogate further. We need to investigate further, because this is impersonation, right?
Yes.
So we need to know exactly
the seat of a public officer.
Public officer. Yeah. And quite apart from that, this is somebody like you are saying was on national television.
Yes.
Claiming that he's a medical doctor, making prescriptions and here and there. But I don't know how many people might have fallen a victim to his activities.
If I were CID, I'll struggle to investigate her.
Why would you struggle to investigate her?
I'll struggle.
Well, you know what you know. I don't know what you know. So let me leave that. You know what you know.
Oh,
Moro. I don't know what you know. If you are saying that you're a CID...
You look at this. Look at this woman. How can I investigate her?
Moro, what are you suggesting?
You see?
What are you suggesting?
Moro, but if they can investigate a whole governor.
Okay.
I think Moro is looking at him from a different...
Haven't you seen her pictures?
So what?
You see?
Moro, what is killing you this morning? Oh, Moro. Her looks, because of her looks, it's not investigated. Moro, I'm disappointed in you.
We'll try.
Well, Moro, I want to look at the picture. I don't want to look in that direction. And so I think
interesting.
This is quite a serious issue. And I believe we have to take steps quickly to get to the bottom of it.
But she's a powerful lady.
Moro, what is wrong with you?
Why are you avoiding them? You don't want to look at
Why are
the
you
picture.
focusing on
Moro, if she wasn't powerful, how could she get that appointment?
Oh, okay.
So
you now see what I also see.
I now see what you're looking. I'm seeing from here.
Moro, you are not being fair to them. You people are not being fair.
How someone will say, but he's a lady.
Moro, you are not being fair to the lady. Leave the lady alone.
That's all now. We don't want to look at it.
I don't want to look at that direction.
Yeah.
The Bible says flee from temptation.
everybody has their Achilles heel.
Yes. Let's hear that temptation. And so I pray that we get this issue further.
Okay.
And let's put things where they're supposed to be appropriately, if there are any sanctions and punishment, to serve as a deterrent.
Okay.
You know, people want to impersonate themselves. Yes. You see, people are saying all manner of things there. This man,
I don't know what I could just do. I can read this on there.
This man. What I said. What is God just saying?
So am I allowed to read this message, please? Let me know whether I have your permission to read this message. If I have his own
description,
he has his own approach on how to get to the bottom of this. So I just want to know whether I have his permission to read.
But once he has sent it to you,
yes.
But you have a discretion to also. You also have a discretion to. But Moro,
your approach to it won't be bad. You know, you have the peace of mind and the right environment.
Well,
okay, so he's given permission to read it. He says, like, he said, I can easily investigate at home. top floor.
Oh, God, no.
Investigator at home. Top floor.
Top floor.
Top floor. You know,
well, and so, Moro, it is
anyway, no, but it's unacceptable.
Yeah, it's unacceptable.
I think there are a lot of useful lessons for us here.
We have to learn a lot of lessons.
Yes. So,
for me, I think she should also be.
Okay, so Kwame Sampase also says, CDD says, as for if you resign as CS, as a CID boss, if he's asked to investigate her. No, the woman powerful. She powerful. No, she powerful. Anyway, so, but he comes.
Before you can do this, Amoro. Before you can do this,
it says it's a due diligence issue. That's from the same corner. It says it's a due diligence issue. There are many such people around. It's easy to blame the government, and rightly so. However, these things are found in many job streams in Ghana. There needs to be a serious look at how qualifications are cross-checked. That, for me, is why this happened. That's coming from Kwame Sapon as Sedu. And Hassan says that, Hassan Sawadogo says that, Salam, bro, it's only a married CID man or a CID who can investigate this fake lady doctor.
We have ladies who are CIDs. Don't you have ladies who are CIDs?
There are ladies who are CIDs.
So there are ladies who are CIDs. So you this man, you can't control yourself.
Everybody agrees with me.
So you this man, you can't control yourself.
Machine powerful. And other people say, no, this one, they wash your hands off.
Oh, we have ladies who are CIDs.
But everybody says they're helpless. That's serious.
Oh, me, I can investigate them on my CID.
Anyway, Jeff of Stanbic Bank, I've seen your message too. He also says this one, he will, this one he won't even attempt. Anyway, so I guess we can move on. We can move on.
Yeah, but so there are very, very useful lessons to be learned from this particular issue.
Very useful lessons. I mean, the others who are bringing this issue about, there are more than 5,000 medical doctors or health practitioners we still haven't employed, and why are we employing the fake doctors? So, and I'm struggling to get a linkage because this is not strictly speaking an appointment as saying you've been appointed as a medical doctor of, say, Kolebu or somewhere. This is a board appointment. So I'm struggling to get there.
This is a political appointment.
Yeah, it's more like a political appointment.
But you see, Moro, assuming that this lady is not fake, as we are made to believe now, the fact that she's already in public space, and she's making some advocacy on television, people tend to have some confidence and some belief in her.
Okay.
And so if an appointing authority, a person with that background, I'm saying advice that if you don't know she's fake, you wouldn't struggle to put somebody like that on board.
Right.
Because he's already doing those advocacy. You can easily be carried away by that.
Okay.
But as I said, this thing, we need to really go into it. We need to find out.
Yes.
Just so we can.
But it's the people who do the investigations. And we want to know who they are.
Why are you struggling with this?
Yes, but we need to know who will do the investigations.
Can't you do it?
No.
Tomorrow?
No.
Why are you that weak?
No, I'm very strong.
So what is your problem then?
I'm very strong. But I don't have the expertise.
I trust my boss, Kojo Chumba, can do it. Don't worry.
Kojo Chumba.
Kojo can do it.
No, he says he's more than willing and ready. But on one condition. If only should come to his house. He will do the investigations there, yes. I don't know what kind of investigation he intends to do. Yeah, but that's her. Yeah, and Dali. and Dali.
You must be powerful to succeed at what you did, right? Ordinary person cannot do this, right?
Hey, this was always say sure. Anyway, so let's move on. Let's look at this matter quickly. So we have Tokonu.
Yeah.
We also have Brandy Champon. So I don't know which of them would do, but let's look at Tokonu briefly, because it's history which is unfolding right, in front of us, because this is the first time. Annie, I think it's okay. We are suffering. Please, Ketel are suffering.
Say you are suffering.
No, me, I'm okay. No, I don't know about you.
No, I'm not even looking in that direction.
Okay, no, once you're okay, then I'm fine. Please, you can put the picture back on. Yeah, I know I'm okay. Honorable Michael initially was struggling, but I think it's okay.
I'm okay. I'm very okay.
I'm very okay.
Okay, that's fine. So we are okay. Okay, all right.
Tomorrow.
So anyway, so history, like I said, is unfolding right behind, before us. And for the first time, we have a CJ who's been suspended, who's gone back to the very court that she was once superintending over. She's gone back to her own colleagues to seek some remedial actions, and she's not been successful. Now, Malik Suleimana of the Ghanaian Times says that by a unanimous decision, the Supreme Court on Wednesday dismissed an injunction filed by suspended Chief Justice Gertrude Araba Tokonu seeking to stop the ongoing probe into 3 separate petitions seeking her removal from office. The court, presided over by Acting Chief Justice Popa Fuboni, held that the motion for interlocutory injunction against Justice Gabriel Scott Kwaman Committee lacked merit. Justice Tokonu wanted the court to halt her suspension and the impeachment proceedings against her pending the final determination of her suit challenging the constitutionality of the impeachment proceedings against her. Appearing before the judges, the Deputy Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Dr. Justice Remsai, argued that Article 1468 requires that proceedings be held in camera. The Deputy AG cited the case of Justice Ataderi versus Tiger IPI and AG and urged the court to dismiss the supplementary affidavits of Justice Tokonu. According to the Deputy AG, the depositions and affidavits were in breach of the in-camera requirements per Article 1468. Taking his turn to address the court, Mr. Godfrey Yabu-Adame, counsel for Justice Tokonu, told the court that the depositions of the supplementary affidavits were not part of proceedings per the Ataderi case and Article 1468 of the 1992 Constitution. He contended that Article 1468 cannot be construed to mean that a party is disentitled to judicial reliefs when the committee goes aboard its jurisdiction or powers. Now, a bit of a background. On May 21, Justice Tokonu filed a motion for injunction against the members of the committee. In her supplementary affidavit, the suspended Chief Justice stated her rights were being abused. She emphasized that she was concerned that the committee was determined to proceed with its inquiry despite bringing the attention to the people pendency of the suit challenging the committee. Justice Tokonu also contends that the committee fixed dates for hearing disregarding her counsel. It was a case that committee has stringently decided that the petitioners would not give evidence themselves, but will be calling others to give evidence. So, as I said, this is historic, and injunction has been knocked down. So what it means, the committee is now free to go about and do its work. None of us here is a lawyer, but I'm sure we have some idea of what is happening. What do you make of this recent development? We have just what? How many minutes? We have just 10 minutes. So we can split it 5 minutes each, and that's fine.
We are a growing democracy.
Okay.
And so that's when it comes to this, we have to test all our laws. I am happy that the person at the center of all this issue is none other but the suspended Chief Justice.
Okay.
I said somewhere yesterday that a few weeks ago I was having a conversation with a former. We've been going through all this many years. Maybe when you're in uniform or when you were in uniform, you didn't notice that this is how things are on our roads. I'm happy that the Chief Justice herself is at the Supreme Court, facing her own colleagues. That not too long ago, she sits on the same bench with, to determine cases involving other people. That is what democracy can produce. I'm also happy that the one in court representing her is the former Attorney General, of the Republic of Ghana. That's very interesting, right?
Yeah.
And some of the things that we heard not too long ago about how, the Attorney General, the Chief Justice Office, and the things that it's quite interesting thing that we are seeing now, thank God it's not for Dagbunyo that is on that committee where you say that because I'm an NDC member, I'm being biased or whatever. Now, it's their own colleagues. They know better. They know the law.
Right.
They are the justices. The only thing that I'm worried about is why the suspended justice, Chief Justice, has allowed herself to be, as it were, to be dragged along like this by the former Attorney General. I don't know what she's fighting for. To be very honest, if I were to be in her shoes, I will just resign immediately and let go of this issue. I don't know what she's fighting for. I don't know how she believes. I don't know. One of the issues is sub judice. I don't want to go into the substance of the issue, but really, I think the honest thing for her to do is to just resign honorably, right to the President. Mr. President, thank you very much for the opportunity. I think the committee should not even proceed with their work again. Let me go home and go and rest. I think that would be good for her. But as it were, surprisingly and interestingly enough, all NPP presidents are now her supporters. They are all cheering her on, And the sad thing to hear is that, don't interfere with the judiciary. If you do that, you're undermining the authority of the judiciary. If this constitution, the constitution of Ghana, allows the president that the people voted for to be impeached as and when it becomes necessary, how can we say that the judges of the Supreme Court cannot be removed from office when there's any wrongdoing? How can we say that? All of us, nobody's above the law.
Yeah.
And so when some people think that you've gone against the law, you need to face it. I remember a few years ago, the then President Nana Akufo-Addo told us that the presidency, or he was a conveyor belt. And so anytime petitions were given to him, he submitted same to the Council of State. And once they determined a prima facie, a president now set up a committee to go for the president to appeal for the committee. I remember the case of Charlotte Osei. Is that not correct?
Yes.
But even before President Akufo-Addo left office, I remember somebody submitted a petition to him about this same suspended Chief Justice. Remember that? I think Professor Azar, who sent a petition to him. On that occasion, the president ceased to be a conveyor belt. The petition was thrown away. Meanwhile, some petitions in the past, even when the people submitted a petition, they didn't have dates and they didn't sign the petition, they were invited and quoted so that they can get the petition to really be a good one that they could forward to the Council of State. It's good we are where we are. We are learning. And for me, yes, the justices should also know that the citizenry are watching. And sometimes, you see, everything that we do under the sun is driven by perception, right? What do people really, the people of Ghana, think about the judiciary? I say when you go to most advanced societies, what the judiciary does is to protect the ordinary people. Because we believe there's no way any ordinary person can fight the power of the state. But in our context, like Professor Raymond Atuguba said that day at Jimpa, when all the justices sat in front of him, he was presenting a paper. He told them in the face that, in fact, he chronicled a number of cases that appear before the Supreme Court. And he concluded that any time a case appeared before the Supreme Court, it's a political case, the ruling was based, or the justice's ruling was based on which government appointed him into office. I hope you remember that particular issue. That very day, the Chief Justice himself was there. And so, for me, where we are now, nobody should see it as interfering with the judicial system. Because the truth is that the confidence of Ghanaians before now has really dwindled when it comes to the job of the judiciary in this country. It's true. And all the research that were done by Afrobarometer and the rest pointed in that direction, that the confidence in the judiciary was going down and down and down. We sat in this country, you remember what's the name? Our leader in Parliament, the Speaker of Parliament, and Honorable Apenyu Markins, Bagbin and Apenyu Markins case in this country, the way issues are handled, that the case was taken to court this morning by afternoon. Yes. By afternoon, they have set up a committee to do a hearing. They finished the hearing, a determination was made the same very day. How does it happen? Have we ever experienced anything like that in this country?
All right.
And these are things that the Chief Justice himself presided over. The same Chief Justice now writes to the President recommending people must be appointed onto the bench. So was he recommending his favorites?
Okay.
Is that how justices are appointed to the Supreme Court?
All right.
And all the allegations that they themselves are saying that they are the reasons for which she's being investigated. And so for me, I'm happy we are testing our laws. We are improving our democracy. We should allow the state to work. We should allow the law to work. She said the law is the law.
Okay.
So let the law be the law.
All right. Michael, please kill this for me in 3 minutes if you can.
If someone had told me that a day will come that the NDC will believe in the courts and start to shout, the law is the law, I wouldn't believe. But it's a good time to be alive, to witness some of these things. Because when you talk about Afrobarometer reports on judiciary and so on, the Afrobarometer reports are based on people's perceptions. And people's perceptions are triggered based on the negative campaign that they did against the judiciary, calling the judiciary an unanimous FC and so on. Today, are they no more unanimous FC? Currently their language has changed, and they are saying the law is what? The law. That is the inconsistent nature of our colleagues. Brandishing the judiciary as an unanimous FC that is doing the bidding of some particular people, then suddenly that same judiciary, that same courts, that same judges, now you believe that are practicing the law. If you look at the recent Asifua case, the ruling was a 3-2 decision, right? They were happy because they felt it went in their favor. And then the supplementary affidavit that Justice Tokonu submitted to the ruling is a 5-0, technical knockout. And they are happy, and they are saying the law is what? The law. But in the past, if same thing had been done, the language would have been different.
Right.
We would have derailed the whole judiciary system. We would have demonized it and made it look like they were doing something that was unheard of. Today, if you go to the US, the Supreme Court has ruled against the president's decision to prevent this tax, how do you call it? The tax, this thing that he slapped on some countries.
Oh, you mean the trade tariff?
Trade tariffs.
Yes.
The Supreme Court has ruled against it. There should be checks and balances within our governance structure.
Okay.
That is why we have separate arms of government. We have the judiciary headed by the Chief Justice. We have the presidency or the executive headed by the president. And then we have the legislative assembly headed by the Speaker of Parliament.
All right.
And in all this, even when we elect a president or a speaker, it is the judiciary that swears them in.
Right.
The judiciary is there to make sure there are checks and balances and proper representation for the people. But when today the political class decide to use the law the way they please to hound the judiciary, posterity will judge all of us.
How did the political class use the law to
this same law? This same law. Why is it that we go to the Supreme Court and we take cases to the Supreme Court, and sometimes we go for the same cases, later we will submit the same cases for a different decision or outcome, a review. Because the law, when you are doing interpretations, there may be several interpretations depending on the particular situation. Quite interestingly, the supplementary affidavit that the Chief Justice submitted to the court threw out the whole affidavit.
They said it was meritless.
Yes, they threw it out. But what surprised me was that the Chief Justice had indicated human violations against a person. That when she's going into the premises where they are doing the whole committee sitting, she is scanned. She is searched, and the searching is done by males. You understand this country?
All the years that she was there, she doesn't know that males have been scanning women who come to that place. She just realized
this country, even at the airport, females search females.
Sometimes females search male.
No.
It's true.
Even at the airport.
Are you saying a female has never studied before?
The Chief Justice is no less person. She's the head of the judiciary.
You should have put that in place.
She's the third in if you are talking about hierarchy of our governance. She's the third in person. You don't treat her to such inhumane things. And to the extent that even her lawyers is inhumane. Her lawyers are not even allowed their phones and their laptops when they go into the committee sitting. How can they even make reference? Whilst those who are accusing her accusers, lawyers are bringing in their laptops. And the Supreme Court overlooked all these issues. And you see, we are building a nation. We all have to be careful. Posterity will judge all of us.
When did you realize all this?
So Prosper Ashikwe, who is a regular viewer of the show from Salam Down,
you had your bite. Allow me to have my bite.
I can, a lot of people are fixated more with this Andali matter.
Yes.
And it's interesting. All of them are saying they will struggle to investigate. I don't know what their reason is. Because I can tell you that the people who have actually investigated her, the people might have been confused and might not have written any reports. And he says, leave her alone. She's a doctor. Do you know how many people she has healed? I don't know what kind of healing he's talking about. But anyway,
Michael, if a whole governor is being investigated, how much more an Sansi? It shouldn't be difficult.
You don't know what people
unless there's no political will.
Well, this one goes beyond political will. Anyway, so thank you very much for your time. Michael Akwesi.
Can we go and bring her so we interview her?
Well,
that'll be a good
one. I will be glad.
Yeah, if you can get up to bring her on your set.
Yes.
So it is loud and clear. Say Ghana Hano. Ghana home. Let me tell you something. Adiabia, it is getting out of hands. It is really getting out of hands. We are sick and tired of this drama. We are sick and tired of this drama. Obi sorry, see me organize awards. Obi sorry, see my yewe manya record. My hodi me a record holder. Even a first and two and there was a time I also waji. The singer Tono, she was the record holder. Unknown is no quarrel. So what is going on in this country? The whole prominent ministry, like health ministry, NHIS sector, now you appoint to be without verifying the background, the checks. The ECOSO, on the back. The past schools or choir, the doctrine. Title Hodi. Gentlemen, check away now. Now you are sorry the senior kushi honum as board member without fact checking all this. You see, Ebasa ye toto Ghana ye niema asawram abuchire sadi we bibesi now. Even when a bibesi it will be prevented. Nipano in the process na no more than matching sharp. But we unless a private individuals been call year verification echo Okatechefi Fajandam president because of some Moses or any else or say anything entering the near bridge will be good in Nimasi. The near bridge will be good in Nimasi. Na say one conscious animal way because hey or more praise Okatechefi for you. Let me tell you one thing. You people should just forget about Okatechefi fa. Obi oyeni SD anything onim the records onim ni niemamu. You see onim bibi onim ni ankasa into okasa obe expose na it is very easy. No Okatechefi fa no ade be na wonya no correct ade be expose be na waye kurum ha legit. Ni se mo be kan bia no ni evidence. when go for quite a man information, say massa, say ni say neko so jina kwaje somebody. What in the mature I say? Enti I very sad. Say ya point to be I was say checking panel the past school choir the education background said the mekan ya the record ohodi the experience in that field. You see, I'm sure we na sorry, ya kaso always sisifia ni bi checking the personality or one ne ho niam say won na moko pejare didi ko gina ono ma masa mo pa chese. You own us explanation. Owura na oye health minister Akamba sorry anya Akamba no anya Akamba health minister me chairman action man I think say saadi you kra no oni hu bibi kra na e be blame no because you supposed to know. Somebody can't just get up and say mini way into my sorry me ye we keke anya fine. Health minister, I will see you home pakro. What in mecho na say? Kwabena minta akando, okay. Nijinu miye na kamba miye fia kamba so. Kwabena minta akando. Enti unia, I will say mo proper checks. Now this lady shouldn't be just, the appointment shouldn't be just revoked. Now mom, she must be prosecuted. She must be prosecuted accordingly. I will say what fake it, and it is against the laws of this country. It is against the laws of this country. What in a major nasi? Young brother use Mukrumano. It is against it. So we need to deal with this woman. I will say deal with her. I was saying I'm see na hanom you number one authentic platform TV. Mess also document betum now watch our dream e was same way on your call. Me info see update bi aba mu a e de ba be somo e your platform we so hanom you number one authentic platform TV. Ma me che ba fo yakopon shawa me we bi yakopon your kesi obi bi ahwe TV na yakopon koso a e sha cha busa fo we yansam a etimi ayeden atwagu but the woman say this woman shouldn't go scot-free. Or say the laws must deal with her because everybody is subjected to the law. What I say, it is the mother. Mama embrani jumana enquest ma revoke appointment ni keke so on fara ho. Anya sa obesnya kodi bone foforo. Obesnya akodi number bi akofeki ne ho akoyese misanye doctor na ade. You see, she has been in the public sector. I think that Obama show and go for exposing and go for news fan home, but people don't. You see, Ghana, your problem is you don't read. We don't read. We don't like the reading habit. It will go for traffic of fan home. You read it. No one is a share top. If you ignore. Oh, how can such a beautiful lady be fake doctor and those kind of comments? You no at the home keke. Meanwhile, no. Ade a ukomu a enka ebia obenya fat boom eni se ne abaye waye expose what I say. Nti no sa na ade ne tie ma me fa won si makra o bye bye.